Hi, everyone who wants to listen to this. I want to talk today about C-ptsd, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have it. It's hard to talk about. It's really hard to talk about it with somebody that you know that doesn't know what it's like. And I feel like I have been in a spiral again for the last several weeks. And just think I need to tell someone else what it's like. And again, this is something you can't, it's too much to sit there and just try to explain to somebody that doesn't have it. So, what is complex post-traumatic stress disorder? It's a living hell. There's no other way to put that. It is a living hell. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been writing down thoughts about how I feel and stuff like that, and I put them all on a paper so I could talk about it on this video. And I got quite a few pages. So things that I'm going to go over, none of this is in any specific order. The way I'm going to talk about it is just the order that I happen to write it down in. Do I think I'm okay? Or do I ever think I'm okay? Over the years, whenever I feel like I'm okay, it spirals. I don't know how to explain that. I'd like to think that it's not as bad as what I think, but I know that it is. It seems like I have absolutely no sense of who I am anymore. Um, I'm Tracy. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. There's got to be more to me than that. It's like I have no sense of anything anymore. Um, I was forcibly retired from my federal job for uh, my back, which was part of my military disability, and also for PTSD. Office of Personnel Management tapped that on there, which was a major surprise to me. Uh, Things I feel on a daily. I can go through this list, but again, this is not in any particular order. Uh, I feel confused a lot of the time. What's another word for it? airheaded. I'm forgetful. Why I always have notebooks laying around all over the place, so I can write things down. And then, provided I can find those notes. Um, I feel detached from myself. Again, it's because I've lost the sense of me. But then again, I can't remember the last time that I really had a sense of me. So I don't even know what me is anymore. And when I realize I'm feeling that way, that really pisses me off, which doesn't help anything. Getting angry about the situation doesn't help. Sometimes it feels good for the moment, but it really doesn't help. Um, it's that feeling of being helpless. I have no power, no control over anything, and it's frustrating. Uh, there is no relaxation. You never relax because you're always hypervigilant. I mean, an acorn bounces off my wheelchair ramp and I jump. My startle reflex is just through the roof. My poor mailman, I think he's going to eventually worried about getting shot, even though I've told him he's safe, but he scares the crap out of me all the time. You know, he's walking up and it's like I don't even sense that until he's almost right on top of me. And I jump. I jump. Something else I do is I disassociate. And I'm doing a lot of that right now. I call it glitching. That is not a good feeling. It's like you completely lose track of time. You can't remember things from minutes ago, hours ago. Normal people would call that scatterbrain or inability to focus. I don't care what you call it, but when I have it and I realize that's what I'm doing, it's scary. And I'm doing a lot of that lately. Um, for the last couple of weeks, I have been sleeping what seems like non-stop. Normally, I can't sleep, but now it's like that's all I'm doing, and I'm not rested. There is no rest involved. Um, I wake up knowing I've been having nightmares. I wake up in extreme drenches, extreme body drenches. I mean, I could farm carp off the sweat that comes off me when I'm like this. And no, that's not hormonal or menopausal. It's not that. Um, as you can see, I'm trying to follow some of my notes here. Not all of them exactly, but it's like I can't function. And that creates a feeling of hopelessness, despair, anger. I always feel numb. It's almost like I'm living in a movie world. Most of the time, I'm in a B-rated film, and then the bad stuff, it's like a full cinematic 360 effect. I always find something to be afraid of. Well, I don't find it. I just am. I'm always afraid of something. Brain fog. Oh yeah. Anybody know what brain fog is? It's where you feel fuzzy all over. It's almost like a amplifying. You feel like things are amplifying around you, amplifying up and down, up and down. I don't know how to. I don't know how to explain that. Uh, when this is going on, I have a lot of blurry vision. I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden, with or without glasses, everything is blurry. So try to read like that. Uh, just sitting here, even writing out these notes today. And I remember this from when I had to do note taking in school and stuff. My handwriting changes. I mean, it drastically changes. And I think now that that might be because I'm going in and out of dissociative states. I get frozen. I know stuff needs to get done. I don't know where to start. Don't tell me I didn't learn how to field day. I know how to field day. You'd never believe it though, and that's because I'm I'm froze. I just don't know where to start. I get discoordinated. Hard to explain that and how I see the discoordination. But there's moments where I can't even put a fork in my mouth because it's like I lost my coordination. I can't explain it. I get terror struck at times for no apparent reason. And this is when I'm wide awake. We won't talk about when I bolt awake from asleep. I'm ashamed and humiliated by how I feel because I've always been. People always thought I was invincible. I used to be able to do anything. Sorry, I'm just checking off things here as I go that I want to say. I mentioned feeling useless with no purpose. I sit at home all day. I am afraid to leave my bubble. Obviously, I have to force myself to go out to get groceries and whatnot. I have a friend who comes up, well, you know Mindy, who gets me out once in a while. And I can't even describe the pain and the anxiety of putting on that brave front and brave face just to go out and get groceries or go get some yarn. It's physically taxing and it's physically painful. I think I mentioned the overwhelming fatigue already. That's that doesn't get any better. But then again, I don't sleep, so that's not a surprise. I spend most of my time in the house on the couch in one spot. I rarely move. Moving's physically painful. That's my back, sciatica, ailments like that, my knees, things buckle on me. I have little to no trust. I mean, there are some people that I trust, but people that are supposed to be able to help me, whew, VA healthcare here, um, no trust in that. Maybe sometime I'll get into or tell you what it was like the first time I saw a VA psychologist. Let's just say that put me in a really, really bad downward spiral. Memory shot, and I know some of that is age related. When I was still raising my boys, I used to say that, oh, the memory glitches happens because you have kids. I used to blame it on the kids. And I remember my grandmother used to do that, used to laugh at her, trying to get her to remember a name. Granted, she had 6 kids and 19 grandchildren to go through the names when she had to yell at one of us. So that's actually a fun memory. With the way I feel right now, there is absolutely no confidence. I'm confident. The only thing I'm confident of is that I will accomplish nothing today. I accomplish nothing on most days. That's frustrating. When I do have somebody at the house or when I have to go out and I talk to somebody, it's exhausting. You do the fake it till you make it, you know, and it is physically and emotionally exhausting because you don't want people to know just how horrible you actually do feel. Social isolation. I rarely leave my box, you know, and right now with the weather being warm, my box does include a little bit of outside time, either in my front or back porch. Right now I'm on the back porch. I live a state away from all of my family. I moved here when my boys were teenagers for my job that psychologically tortured me and forced me into retirement. Yeah, that's another story for another day. But being out of state away from all my family, it's lonely. Nightmares, funky dreams. I want to write them down as soon as I wake up, but they're a wisp in the wind within seconds of waking up. I usually can only remember that it was really weird. Sometimes I can remember somebody that was in it, but the somebody I remember is never somebody that in particular is a threat to me or anything. Anxiety and panic attacks. Be walking to get a cup of coffee or something, and all of a sudden it's like you get a sledgehammer to the chest. You can't breathe. The heart starts pounding. Your temples are pounding. The knees just want to buckle. The back wants to buckle. When that happens, you just reach out and grab a hold. You just reach out and literally hands on the walls on either side of you, hoping it'll hold you up. Uh, that usually includes my whole body shaking and racked in pain. There's always that pain. The the drenches I mentioned earlier. VA doctors ignore that. They always try to say, "Oh, you're just menopausal. That's your hormones." No, it's not. No, it's not. Those drenches will sometimes be rapid cycle. I will be, I'll get woken up out of a sound sleep and I will be drenched in sweat. I mean, drenched. And then minutes later, I am shivering uncontrollably. Now, in the wintertime, I keep my house at 78 degrees because of how cold I get. I sleep with a hot water bottle even now. I mean, even during the warm weather, I sleep with a hot water bottle, and I always have a fan on, and I have a hand fan next to me. I don't have it out here right now because there is a soft breeze blowing, so I'm comfortable outside with the heat. I love the heat. I always have muscle aches, despite medication that I take. Um, that's because I'm tense. You know, the aches I get are the worst in the back between the shoulder blades. It does focus more on one side. There's always knots there. I've written here physical isolation. Again, I'm away from family. I keep myself in a house. And I used to love to try to socialize. Um, all my adult life that I can remember, I have scared people. That might not be the right word, but I intimidate people. And I've had a couple acquaintances over the years tell me that they were afraid to talk to me. But once they sucked it up and spoke to me, then they realized, hey, I'm actually a pretty nice person. And I am a nice person. I'm a good person. I like to think I am. Um, depression's a biggie. Losing time. I'm always losing time. And that's, I think that goes back with the disassociation. It's like I'm stuck. I don't know what to do or where to go. I stay here and I hide in my house. I'm hiding from everything. The last couple of weeks, and I just put this together recently, along with this extreme fatigue and always sleeping, I get phantom smells. Um, I've had those for years. It was always like that rose perfume the kids get and sausage smell. Why sausage? But for the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot more than that. And it comes in. It always smells like there's something cooking, and then it goes out. And it's not bad phantom smells. but they're not coming from anywhere else. And they go away as quick as they show up. And they cycle. It's not always the same smell. I mean, if it was somebody cooking outside, it wouldn't disappear that quickly. It's only me in my house, and I know nothing's cooking, so it's not that. But that's kind of a freaky thing. So you want help? I want help. But Christ, how do you explain some of these things to people? The rapid fire emotions, the being trapped with no escape. Where did it come from? Where did the complex part of this come from? Um, Childhood trauma started it. Having the crap beat out of me while my mom's pedophile boyfriend would hold me down. Try to tell somebody in the family, and things just get worse. Mom makes up stories about it, so then nobody believes me. So you go through so many important years with nobody believing you because your mom told everybody you're lying about everything. My mom's boyfriend feeding me alcohol whenever my mom wasn't around. Yeah, I told my grandma. Days later, I'm getting my ass beat for it. And everybody thinks I'm lying about it. We weren't in that house a month with my mom's boyfriend before I tried to tell her something. And I did it in a public place. I was, what, 12 years old, I think? Sitting in a McDonald's, and I tried to tell her. And she's screaming at me in McDonald's. That was the last time I ever said anything to her or to anybody, because what difference did it make? Um, I skipped a lot of school, usually because I had marks on me that I couldn't hide. But of course, nobody believes that. If I pulled out my junior high and high school transcripts, you'd see on my grades the way they would jump up and down, up and down, up and down. And nobody picked up that there's a problem. That's terrifying. You keep trying to go on. You're used to holding things in because nobody believes you. You get pegged as a liar. When you try to say anything, of course, you get pegged as a liar. Nobody believes it. And it just builds and compounds. At this point, you got to wonder, what did I do to deserve this the way I am now? What did I do to deserve it? I ask myself that all the time, but I know that when this all started with me, I was a kid. What kind of kid asks for or deserves? What kind of kid asks for or deserves the physical, emotional, and psychological torture that I was subjected to as a kid? by those that were supposed to be taking care of me. No child deserves that. You grow up, you try to move on, you think you moved on, but the cycle starts again, just in a different way. The context is different, but the physical, the emotional, and the psychological torment is the same. And you keep disassociating. The disassociation just continues and it worsens. But you still try to move on. You get into adult relationships, get married, and the cycle continues. And the mental state that I was unknowingly in, did that contribute to a failed marriage? Probably. Did that create some of the problems in the marriage? Probably. Does that absolve my ex husband from some of what he's put me through over the years? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When we did finally separate, all of those, what I now know were triggers, he knew what they were and he used them. And worse yet, he used the kids and taught the kids to use them on me. So, yeah, more torture there. Teenagers are rough anyway, but when you have a ex actively using those kids to continue with the not just emotional and psychological aspect, but uh, the physical aspect, like what I went through with my oldest son. Oh yeah, it just keeps continuing. My job that forced me to retire. I actually loved that job, and I was good at it. I do have awards and certificates of merit for what I've done on the job, but have a supervisor make a mistake and then pin it on me. And here it is. It's the cycle all over again. I'm getting blamed for something that wasn't my fault, that's beyond my control. They were more worried about protecting themselves, and then the agency realized they had to protect themselves. I get made the scapegoat. And I fought it, but that's still what they did to me was nothing short of torture. And it was while that was going on, I went and actually saw a counselor through the EAP program. I sought that after it's to the point where, with all the driving I was doing, you know, I'm in West Virginia. All I could think about was driving into one of the cliffs. And if you've driven in West Virginia, you know how the cliffs are on the sides of all the roadways. When I was in the greater Pittsburgh area, all I'm thinking about is driving off a bridge. that's when I realized that, oh yeah, something's wrong here. So I sought out a counselor through the EAP program. And that is the first time PTSD was ever mentioned. And during that time frame, um, was a major depressive episode, is what I was told it was called, which I now know is also considered a nervous breakdown. But I was out of work for 7 months, constantly in fight or flight mode. It was brutal. You know, when you are living single and your income is taken away from you like that because of torture and torment, then you got to worry about how the hell am I going to, do I keep paying to live? How the hell do I keep my house? These are just things that continued with keeping the fight or flight mode going, even when I was not working all that time. When I went back, I told them, PTSD was brought up. And it's like they jumped on that and just used that to try to get me to quit, because that would cover up what had happened and keep me as the scapegoat. But I fought it, and fighting it broke me physically, broke me mentally, broke me. I mean, I realized that I was fracturing leading up to that. I realize now that I was fracturing leading up to that, but it was what my job did, that it wasn't just the final straw, it was the whole damn ton of bricks. And here I am now, barely able to function on most days. How is this, with what I'm doing, how is this even living? It's not living. I'm surviving. I'm surviving. I mean, that's good, but this is no way to live. This is no way for anybody to live. Well, I'm feeling a bit emotional right now, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. But I am going to come back and do more videos, because maybe the videos will be therapeutic enough and help in some way. It's reaching out, right?